Welcome, my fellow muses. I hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to go through this vintage 2005 book on flower arranging. It's called The 5-Minute Florist. And I had a quick peek through this book, and it is really neat. We're also going to talk a little bit about 2005 and some differences between then and now. It's 20 years later. So let's open this book up and see what we can find. I like these right away. I think these are called Cabrera daisies or something like that. I may be mispronouncing them, but they're one of my favorite flowers. I should probably learn how to pronounce them. And then we have a lovely opening page here with purple and white. And then look at these tulips. The off-white. It's really pretty. It's something different than traditional red or pink. So this just talks about the secret strategies. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. I do like these vases. A pretty vase can make a difference with a floral arrangement. So this section is called Everyday Arrangements. And of course these are a lovely orange. It says many people associate flowers with special occasions such as Mother's Day, a birthday, or wedding, but flowers make any day a special occasion. I agree. It says pick up a bunch on your way home from work, the gym, or play date with your kids. They'll make your day. And that's what I did yesterday. I picked up this small bouquet of flowers from Trader Joe's when I went there yesterday. There were actually 2 other types of flowers in the bouquet, but I just took them out to color coordinate with a cover. This is pink, mostly pink and white. So I decided to take the purple ones out. Well, this is kind of a pinkish purple. And just leave those in the view for the video. But every time I go to Trader Joe's or my local grocery store, they have such pretty flowers. And a lot of time I won't buy them because they can get pricey, and of course they die after several days. But I wanted to splurge yesterday to have some flowers for this video. Also, I chose this book because Mother's Day is coming up. It's the month of May. And maybe I'll buy my mom some flowers that day. I'll do something special, of course. This is called Modern Simplicity, and I love how they put the flowers in a bowl like this. It is simple, but striking. It says a half-dozen red tulips lie entwined in a flared bowl. Tulips hold the unique distinction of continuing to grow after they are picked. As time passes, more of these will muscle their way through the water and poke their ruffled heads above its surface, perhaps spilling petals over the rim of the bowl. I did not know that. That's really cool. So tulips are special in that way, I guess. This is really pretty. Look at the colors of these next to the bouquet that I got yesterday. I'll pick these up a little bit. So this is part of the bouquet I got yesterday. And then we have this one, very similar colors. Of course, this one's more full, and you have the 3 in a row. Makes it even more striking. And then we have some pretty pink ones over here, hot pink. I have a dress on right now that's about that color. So, white tulips. So from the beginning of this section, or the beginning of the book rather. Yeah, so they chose that for that introductory opening pages section. So interesting. Hyacinth. And here are those Cabrera daisies. I think I'm actually going to stop filming for a second and go look up the pronunciation, because I really should know the pronunciation of my favorite flower. So I will check that out and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and Google says Gerbera daisies. So all these years I've been saying Gerbera daisies. I just think they're so beautiful. Yellow, pink, and red here. Whenever I see these at the market, they grab my attention. And then look at these yellow. I think these must be lilies. No, daffodils. I should know better than daffodils. But I wanted to point out this old computer. So again, this book was published in 2005. And look at that old Mac computer. I remember when these came out, it was a big deal. All the computers before were just plain gray. And I kept telling my friends before these came out that computers should be colorful, and then Apple came out with these. And it was a big deal. But look how old that looks. So, now that thing's an antique. Okay, and then some flowers in a bowl here. A big neutral picture in the background. So this is nice and adds a pop of color. Oh, by the way, isn't that nice to have flowers on a desk? To just add a little bit of sunshine while you're working. Okay, so bold and sculptural. These are bold and sculptural. I would say they kind of look like mini statues. But it's flowers. Looks like something you would see at an art museum. Says when arranging flowers, many people consider only the sensuous impact the actual blossoms will have on the beholder. But flowers are more than just blossoms. They are also composed of stems, leaves, and roots. It's very true. So you don't think about it, but the stem is part of the impact, or can be. Yeah. So this, I guess these are leaves from a flower. And then you just put them in a bowl with some stones and it makes an impact. And then here is, I don't know if it's the same picture, but the flowers in a bowl. I saw that somewhere. I can have a short memory, so there we go. This was about the tulips that continue to grow. It's a different type of flower. Let's see what kind of flower this is. Birds in flight. Oh, like birds in flight, several calla lilies wheel around each other inside a glass bubble bowl. So calla lilies. Very a deep red, crimson. And then these more like the stems, I guess. Using branches, the willows, and a handful of willowy grasses leans gracefully over the rim of a translucent vase. So this right here. This section is called Wild at Heart. It says, due to the rise of globalization and e-commerce, virtually any and every exotic or unusual flower you can think of is now available at any time or in any place through florists or at the click of a mouse. So remember they were saying this back in 2005. And now it's even more so. These are kind of wild looking, but also a bit, I don't want to say contrived, but a bit like a piece of artwork, I guess you could say. Bare branches studded with blossom introduce a breath of fresh air into an interior. So again, something simple can have a big impact. Just go out in your yard and cut some flowering branches. Put them in a vase, and there you go. Here they just put some leaves in a metal container. It says, coiled ivies and rosy-cheeked pears occupy a cylindrical vase in the manner of an aquarium. That is very cool. So we have the pears at the bottom, the coiled ivy, and then I love these candles. They look like rocks. And then this is blackberries. I used to live in the Pacific Northwest, and we would go hunting for blackberries for fun, and they were very delicious. We just had a lot of blackberry bushes near us, just in the local parks and such, and you could just go pick as many as you wanted. They tasted so good. Romantic and relaxed is the next section. It's all these purple flowers. If purple is your color. And it does look striking there against the green, the lime green vase. More of a purplish pink here. It's nice to have floral arrangement next to your bed. Just adds a sense of calm. And then you can create a collection of just some simple buds in various vases, like these pink roses. Let me know in the comments what your favorite flower is, or your favorite color flower, or both. I'd love to know. It says, for romantic effects, choose plants that stand out by virtue of their exquisite flower formations. That is exquisite. And then they put a red rose in with it. Oh, actually a whole collection of roses over here on the mantle. That is very striking. Imagine sitting here at night, fire lit, and all these beautiful flowers on the mantle. And this is more of like an informal arrangement in a picture. And then here, this is very simple, just two different kinds, but it can still be striking. a much bigger arrangement. You can put that in your entryway or something like that, or maybe on your porch, someplace where you have more of an open space. Special occasions. So they mentioned Valentine's Day and Mother's Day. And just like they said at the beginning, any day or occasion can be made special with flowers. It's true. If you bring some flowers to like your work or a friend's house unexpectedly, it could really brighten up their day. So it's really pretty, the red and white. Wrapped bunches. So wrap them up. These flowers that I bought yesterday were just wrapped in a sort of foil paper just to protect them in transportation. So when I put them in my car and brought them home, they weren't disturbed. I think these are pansies. Yeah, pansies are cute too. It's just small flowers, but they come in so many different pretty colors, I think, if I remember correctly. So Valentine's Day, red roses, of course, and purple. What color of flower would you prefer to get for Valentine's Day from your partner, or if you had a partner? Red is always nice, but I always like something slightly different, like pink. It says, when Cupid strikes, grab a bouquet and enjoy the ride. And then this is interesting. Who's to say that roses are a strictly male purview? Flout convention and surprise the man in your life with not one but 3 dozen roses wrapped up in his favorite newspaper. So I thought that was interesting. Wrap in newspapers because, of course, newspapers aren't nearly as popular now, not physical newspapers, as they were back in 2005 and previous eras. So it's kind of funny. I remember, I think it was before 2005, it might have been the late 90s, early 2000s, I would walk down to the corner of my neighborhood and get a newspaper out of a newspaper machine, so where you would put the quarters in. I don't remember how much it was back then, but maybe 50 cents or 75 cents. And of course now you can't really find that too often. But yeah, I wanted to point that out. Fragile, fragrant flowers and delicious hues express the joy and wonder of birth. Delicious hues. Said that wrong. So, another occasion, new baby. Yellow roses. And then this reminds me of a wedding. See what it says. It doesn't say for any particular occasion. Queen Anne's lace. Halos, a dainty cluster of white roses. Mother's Day, which is coming up. And I absolutely love this bouquet. It's stunning to me, those colors. And it says, oh my gosh, I can't even pronounce this. Ranunculus. Ranuncus. I've never heard of those, but they are gorgeous. Love the bright mix of colors there. And this is cute. You put a single flower in a teacup. This is a poppy anemone. It says a single poppy anemone adds a flamboyant flourish to lasting tokens of love. An antique demitas, a string of pearls, and a silver locket. So you can create a different type of bouquet. Add some jewelry here. This is really pretty too. I know I keep saying that, but just love the soft pink next to the green. Matches my background really well too. And peonies. And I think, aren't those maybe, oh, it says burnip caps. I thought they were hyacinth or something. I can't remember the name actually, what I thought they were, but I thought they were different than what they are. Not what I was expecting. So lovely though. This is a beautiful vase, enhances a bouquet, and it may even become an heirloom to treasure always. And it's true, you can pass down the vase to your children, and then they can pass it down to their children. Relaxed summer meals. Putting a little sprig of flowers on top of the napkin gives it some style. Or some small vases with flowers on the table can add a little flair. Or I guess the vases don't have to be small, they could be big. You have a larger table. Dining in the pink. I love pink. And these pink flowers are beautiful. Put them in a bowl with some water, or even in like a wine glass. That is really cool. I wouldn't have thought of that. So this is the table setting. It's really pretty, really romantic. Impromptu celebrations. This is so cute. It reminds me of like something you'd see at a tea house where you're having high tea. And beautiful glasses and all these pretty flowers. And there's a close-up, just 3 different colors of flowers in a pretty glass. Just makes it stunning, and yet it's simple. And here are the pink flowers with the limes in a bowl. That matches really well with my color scheme here, pink and green. When less is more, the eye finds itself drawn to the discriminating choice of objects. So that's a good point. They have a very simple neutral background, and then they put these green flowers and leaves in vases. I would still want a pop of color though. I would add some colorful flowers there, but that's just me. Everybody's different. And they are talking about being minimalistic, so it goes with that type of style. Okay, so I thought this was interesting. It mentions sources for the vases and containers, and a lot of these stores, of course, used to be more popular. Some of them don't even really exist anymore. Like Pure One Imports still exists online, but as far as I know, they closed down all of their physical locations. And Crate Barrel's still around. I think IKEA is definitely still around and popular. I mentioned Macy's, Neiman Marcus, Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware, Target. Of course, Target's still still around and popular as far as I can tell. But, department stores aren't as popular as they used to be, which is kind of sad. Luckily, I think they're all still around though, the ones they mentioned here, like Macy's and Neiman Marcus. But just maybe not as busy as they used to be. Like 2005, department stores were still buzzing. And there's the types of daisies that I like. So that's the 5-Minute Florist from 2005. I just wanted to share also this faux flower that I have. It's from my kitchen. It goes in a corner to brighten up the space in my kitchen. My kitchen is like a neutral brown and tan, but with some deep red accents. It's kind of pink, but it goes well enough. I can't remember where I picked this up, but I like that it sits in that corner. Just gives it a little pop of color. And then I also have these faux yellow flowers, and they go in a spare room, and they really brighten up that space. And I think these came from Home Goods or TJ Maxx, probably Home Goods. And I've had them for about a year and a half. And I do like faux flowers for everyday decor, because for most of us, we're not going to buy fresh flowers every day. So I really like these, and could even put a couple different arrangements together to really brighten up a space. So that's my faux flowers. I also found, this is from a Southern Living magazine. Let's see, I marked the page. I just came across this recently too, and I thought I would share it since we're talking about flower arranging. They have a few nice pictures here. This one's mostly green with some pops of peach. And of course that makes this a focal point of this interior, this room. So I thought that was pretty cool. And first. And then they call this Moody Blooms. So various colors there and sizes make for a striking look, and they have a gold frame in the background. Give you a better look. Actually, I'll put it down here. So that's this one. And there's another one with some purple flowers, lots of white. And I think this looks, I want to say pomegranate. Let's see what they say here. So dahlias, greenery, of course. There's that one flower again that I can't pronounce, ranunculus. Pomegranate and berry branches. Okay, glad I got something right. So that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought to use fruit branches and pieces of fruit, but it works. And this is the last one. These orange flowers here, and then This florist is holding some like soft off-white and orange flowers in her hand. Orange, a little bit of yellow. So, different types of flowers. Well, I hope you enjoyed this book as much as I did. Part of me wants to cut out some of these pictures to use in my collages, but I don't think I will. I think I'll leave the book the way it is. It's just such a beautiful book. May refer back to it now and then, or maybe I'll pass it on to someone else who can enjoy it. And another look at these flowers: pink rose, carnation. I'm not sure what these are. If you know, let me know in the comments. But I'll put them in a vase later and add those purple flowers back in. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you'll come back, and in the meantime, maybe you take some time to enjoy the beauty in nature. Go for a walk and look at the flowers. Notice the flowers when you go to the store. Maybe give someone a bouquet of flowers.